Alright guys, we all know that there's a new ranked reset this season, so that means there's going to be a lot of people trying to climb up the leaderboards in Call of Duty Mobile Ranked. But in this video, if you guys are S&D players or you guys just have an interest in S&D, you guys want to find the right classes and the right loadouts that you guys want to use to excel in that game mode, this video is going to be helping you guys with that, because not only am I going to give you guys gunsmiths of these guns, I'm also going to be showing you guys how you could use these guns, how you could use these loadouts to its full advantage, giving you guys an advantage over the competition in Search and Destroy. If you guys enjoy this type of content or other Call of Duty Mobile content, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, and if you found a build that you guys enjoy, make sure you guys drop a like. And yeah, if you guys want any more builds that I have that weren't necessarily on the video that I use personally, you could always join my Discord. It is going to be linked in the description for all of my loadouts, each and every single one of them. So yeah guys, what am I waiting here talking all this talk? We were here to watch a video. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Before we get started with the video, I want to be going over the perks, and the first perk that you kind of want to use if you're an AR or even an SMG player is Lightweight. Gives you that 10% movement boost, which is great. Flak Jacket when you're going against a lot of thermite spammers and Molotov people. Skulker if you want to strafe a bit, but I'd still prefer Lightweight for the mobility wise. Next we have Ghost. Ghost is actually essential now that there's heartbeat sensors. There's going to be a lot of chaos going on in that department. And then you're going to want to have Toughness if the loadout that I give you doesn't have the greatest flinch resistance. And last but not least, we have Quick Fix. Quick Fix is good for those rushy classes, and it gets you places a lot easier when you're trying to get multiple kills at once. And last but not least, we're going to go our blue perks, and Dead Silence was never nerfed in the first place. So against contrary to popular belief, Dead Silence is still there, and High Alert's still there as well, but I'd still prefer to have Dead Silence because I could just go around the map a lot more quietly. Gunsmith of the video we're going to be going over is the QXR Gunsmith. Now we all know the QXR is a top 2 SMG. In my opinion, it's the best submachine gun in the game. But here's the thing of the QXR. They basically buffed the upper body damage from 1.2 times multiplier in the chest. So this makes it a very extremely viable SMD weapon, especially if you're trying to get a fast time to kill. This gun, this loadout that I use, it's an overall jack of all trades type of QXR because you can do so much with it. The thing with the QXR is it beams really accurately, so one little strafe could basically throw it off completely. So you're gonna really want to hit those shots and make sure you guys hit the upper body, which it shouldn't be difficult at all, and that is what makes the QXR very lethal. And I just been having a lot of fun with this gunsmith, and this has been the best gunsmith that I have been using for the QXR and SMD. So if you guys are QXR fans like me, I would highly suggest you guys to use this class in particular because it really shines in all sorts of ways. And this is the gunsmith that I have, and I have Lightweight, Ghost because I do not want to be tracked by a heartbeat sensor, and we have a heartbeat sensor on the side. Alright, for my next build here we have is my AS Val build. Now the AS Val actually got a really good buff that makes this an S&D machine because it has a very fast time to kill, and the recoil is much more easy to control, and the 80 is bullet spread accurate on it. It's actually really solid. The one thing you're going to want to be careful with the AS Val is when people strafe very well, they have really good movement. You really want to hit those shots because it's S&D, and S&D you only have 1 life, but assuming you're in the right position, which is not very difficult to do with the AS Val because of its high mobility and just high aggression for this AR, then you guys should have no problems. And this is going to be my AS Val loadout. It is an overall solid Val loadout because the Val doesn't really have much things to be upgraded over. I have Toughness because I want to get as little flinch as possible, and I'm obviously going to have a heartbeat sensor and a thermite to basically make my rush routes a little bit easier. A build that you guys would probably be very excited to see would be a QQ9 build because the QQ9 is very used in S&D a lot, and it's still very popular despite of all the SMG buffs for good reason because the QQ9 has one of the best iron sights in the game to be a pure SMG. The QQ9 does have a bit of recoil that you're gonna have to control a bit, and it's a little bit shaky, but the QQ9's recoil is not very that difficult, and a lot of people tend to use it with ease. The QQ9 is definitely a top 2 SMG. It's still a beast close range. It's gonna outgun literally 95% of the Call of Duty Mobile guns close range alone, and it's a very aggressive gun. And I wouldn't recommend you guys to use this build in particular when you're trying to play range. You just want to play this gun when you're kind of trying to sweat and when you could trust your movement and your mobility to get yourself ahead of the advantage. This is going to be my loadout. It helps with range, and it's an overall all green balanced type of build. We have Quick Fix to try to regen our kills, Dead Silence, Lightweight, and a Smoke to get through the snipers, and we have a Karambit if we want to switch out. If you guys happen to be HG40 fans, which I kind of am, this build would be very good for you guys. The HG40, I would use it in S&D. It kind of helps me out to not use the best of the best guns in the game. The HG40, what I don't like about the gun though, it does not have very good ADS bullet spread accuracy, so I struggle a little bit, trying to hit my shots 100% accurately, but the recoil will not throw you off, and the iron sights on HD40s are usually very well rounded. So if you guys want to use a solid HD40 build with good range, not the greatest ADS bullet spread accuracy, but it's definitely better than most, then this HD40 build will be solid for you. And it's always good to have that one build in your S&D loadouts to have, just in case there's no sweats, to practice on your gameplay. This is the Gunsmith right here. I have Ghost so I don't be tracked by the heartbeat sensors like I said, and I also run Dead Silence because I don't want to be hurt, and Lightweight to get that extra mobility. Alright, so this is my BK57 build that I always use on streams. A lot of people really wanted to see it, so this is going to be the build that I usually recommend you guys to use. This BK57 build is more for passive-aggressive players, and the BK57 is very underrated, so this is the build that I want you guys to be using to get the most out of your BK, and I run Quick Fix, Lightweight. You don't have to run Quick Fix, but that's what I use. An ejected video without including the Finnick. So here we have is the Finnick. The Finnick should always be in your S&D loadouts. Now, the Finnick is honestly the most underrated SMG in the game, and it's still is even in 2021. The Finnick will just always be underrated, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with a lot of people not using the Finnick that much. This Finnick is just for pure running into the enemy spawn. It does not matter. I'm gonna dumb rush mid. This is assuming my game sense is correct. I'm gonna push in a corner where I know there's gonna be 1 or 2 people, while I'm gonna be using Quick Fix to kind of win those gunfights, putting the enemy at a 5-3 disadvantage. So this is the build that I would recommend you guys to use when you're trying to dumb rush, or you just don't even give a crap and you trust your move in it just to go at it and kill them. This is the build that I use, probably the best Finnick build in the game if you ask me, to be 100% honest. And like I said, I use Quick Fix, Dead Silence. I really don't want them to hear me out, and I have a monolithic suppressor, so I am silent the entire time. Alright, let's talk about my first passive gun in the video, and that is going to be the M4. Now, the M4 is a very, very passive gun. I don't recommend you guys to dumb rush with this class at all. This class is going to be used when you're trying to figure out the hard pushing enemies. These enemies would probably be very rushy and very aggressive. You're going to try to want to figure them out with this build. This build, you're going to want to have good game sense because it really requires you to predict the enemy and having good aim, which, like I said, that is why I run the M4 on it, because the M4's recoil is so abysmally small that you could actually do very well with this build. And obviously you're going to want to play back. You don't want to play SMG users too closely because it could put you at a disadvantage. But make sure when you're using the M4 to hit upper body to get the fastest time to kill. You don't necessarily have to hit upper bodies if you're playing range on them, but if you're going to play up close to them, you're going to want to bank on the fact that you could hit them upper body, giving you a faster time to kill. That is the build that I use on it, and I use Ghost and Dead Silence so they will not be aware of what I have, and Lightweight for that extra inch of mobility. Just like how I said with the Finnick, we cannot have an S&D video without the Finnick. We cannot have an S&D video without the Bizon. Now, this is what the Bizon makes it so good. The Bizon has such a high mag round, which makes it very good when you're trying to pre-fire. That is why in this build, I run a monolithic suppressor to gives me those pre-fire so the enemy won't know where I'm going to be shooting them from. And let's say there's going to be 2 people pushing an obvious direction, I could just pre-fire the hell out of it with my monolithic suppressor, giving me extra range and that extra damage boost through range, giving me a higher advantage over the enemies. And this build is just going to be very good because the Bizon is a good gun in general. It is a top 4, top 5 SMG, and again, the mag size just makes this build super useful with that suppression, and that is what makes the Bizon very good in S&D. And this is going to be the build that I run with it. It's going to be the best Bizon build even in respawns, and this is what I use. I use Quick Fix and Dead Silence so I could get regen, and I don't think I'm going to be needing Ghost on that one. All right, my personal favorite assault rifle in the game, and that is going to be the DRH. Now, the DRH is going to be another one of those sweat loadouts when the enemy is kind of try-harding and I just need to trust my aim and game sense. The DRH is going to be the perfect gun for that. It has high damage with those upper body shots. The DRH is still the king of assault rifles. I like it a little bit better than a Man of War, but that's personal preference. But what I just love about the DRH is it has a little bit higher mobility than average, and it definitely has higher mobility than the Man of War, and the iron sights are so clean on it, and they made the ADS bullet spread accuracy a lot better to all guns, so it just doesn't make the DRH that bad. And again, I'm just going to be using the DRH when I need to win those gunfights with assault rifles. So yeah, this is the build that I'm going to be using on it, and I would suggest you guys to use it when you're going to be going against sweats. This is what I use. I use this build as a kind of like last resort. Like I said, when the enemies get a little bit tougher, I like to use Quick Fix. You can switch it off to Ghost, Dead Silence, and I like to place a trophy system. Now, last but certainly not least, my shotgun build. Now you guys all know it is tradition for my SND videos to have the shotgun build. The shotgun build I use when I just cannot win gunfights over the enemy. There are going to be games where I just cannot win gunfights, so this is the build that I always use. This is going to be the KRM. I like it a lot more than the Buy 15, and obviously we don't need to run anything but quick fix, dead silence, because when I kill someone I want to be able to run and evade as quickly as possible with. Alright guys, well thank you guys so much for watching till the end. I appreciate it so much. Make sure you guys subscribe if you haven't. Also comment down below finished. My OG subs know that. So yeah, without further ado, thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Signing out.